Everyone at home? Are you sitting? I mean, probably weird if you were standing watching this. I mean, what do you got some sort of standing desk? Think you're better than me, don't you?
Hi there. If you guys watching this video, you're probably wondering what the heck this video is.
I don't like where this is going.
Well, you probably saw in the video title, but so I don't know why I'm asking you this question. But anyways, long story short, when I was before January 2020, I used to not be a big fan of anime. Anime was I despised, and I had some sort of hatred of it, and I thought it was just a really stupid thing. But then I seen the light ever since that day, and then COVID hit, and then I just got into down this huge rabbit hole, and now I'm a weeb, I guess you can say. The following animes included in this anime are animes that I've watched at least one single season of. Considering that I don't think I haven't met a below average anime so far, I'm only gonna go up to C tier. Or down to C tier, because I don't see any anime so far. Out of all the animes that I watched this year, none of the anime seemed below average or something that just makes me despise of watching. But anyways, I'll give you guys the little heads up there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please leave a like. Let's get going. To Love Ru. This is basically my very first anime that I've watched in my entire life. It just so happens that this anime, my very first anime, became an Ichi anime. Go figure. This anime is actually really nice. This is probably one of the oldest anime shows in this tier list, but it's a really good anime show. The main character Yukirito is basically your everyday standard main character in a harem anime. Nothing much special to him, but he tries to be heroic at some points in his time. And the characters are actually really enjoyable, and it's quite a selection of cast. Sucks that it's not around anymore, because I think the company who made the anime kind of went bankrupt. But we'll see what happens in the future. But anyways, I'd have to give it, despite it being my first anime, I'm only gonna give it to a B tier, considering all the other harem animes that I've watched in my time. Next is Und Panzer. It's literally what it is in the title. You have girls and you have panzers, and they battle it out into a huge team deathmatch. It's like World of Tanks, but with anime girls and everything like that. Well, it's pretty good anime. It's a nice popcorn entertainment anime. The plots are a little bit similar to each other in in the season and the movies. Nothing much special to it, but I do think it's a very good anime because it actually respects the history behind each tank, so you gotta give credit to that. And I love the typical stereotypes that you have in each nation or school or an academy, and it's good to see how they did that. So anyways, I'm gonna give this a solid A tier. Konosuba. It's your standard harem anime, but it's actually kind of the opposite. The main character is actually really likable. Compared to most harem main characters, he actually despises his party or harem, or tries to run away from his problems. It's a nice little topic to where the main character becomes transported into some RPG video game in a way, and it's really nice how they did it, and the plot lines behind it's just really nice. It's easy to watch, and it's enjoyable, and you gotta love all the characters and everything like that, and of course you gotta love Megumin's explosion. Gonna give you a solid A tier. Ace Attorney. The anime adaptation to the classic Capcom games trilogy of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. I gotta say, that's for an adaptation to this game, it has a lot of its ups and downs, really. It's popcorn entertainment. I actually like it. It's enjoyable. It's nice to see that companies are able to adapt these new characters into the proper roles in the game. If you're just watching the show, it's definitely worth watching if you haven't gotten into the game as well, but I preferably recommend that you actually play the games first before you actually watch the anime. Ace Attorney gets B tier. The Fruits of Grazia. I hope I got that name correct. It's a very good. It's one of those other harem MCs. It's one of those other harem animes as well, in a way, but it's actually likable. It's a very, despite it's only like 2 seasons of shows, the MC is probably one of the most likable harem MCs I ever known, because first off, he's like a straight up savage, as he literally the polar opposite of a standard harem MC. It's definitely something to watch if you guys like harem animes. It's a very nice approach to it, and it's a really nice, dark, but yet well story-driven. It's a very good story-driven anime. So please check that out. But I'm gonna give this a solid B tier. Next on the list is Kancolle, the Kantai collection. I personally like this anime. It's one of the first ship girl animes I actually watched, believe it or not. If you guys want to see some good ship girls in action, trying to change the past of the Imperial Japanese Empire's conquest in World War II, it's a nice little story how to do that. But instead of actual ships, they actually use anime girls named after these ships. I'm gonna give this a solid A tier, just for the heck of it. High School Fleet. To sum it up in a nutshell, or in one sentence, High School Fleet is your standard girls on Panzer, but in naval ships instead of tanks. That's literally how I'm going to describe it with. The plot is similar to, it has similar plots to it, but it's an actually interesting approach. Considering that it's only 1 season, it's not much to go over, but yet I just wish it could have been something more. But the 1 season that it has, it's really actually likable and it's enjoyable to watch at least once. If you want to see a naval version of Girls on Panzer, check out High School Fleet. It's definitely something to watch. Despite it's only 1 season, it definitely deserves some recognition. But I just wish there could be some more out of it, as it could have had something new if it had, like maybe like a few films or 2. But I'm gonna give this a solid B tier. This is an anime adaptation to the classic mobile game Azur Lane. Despite its 1 season and supposedly there's gonna be like a 2nd season, it's a good anime. It's a good adaptation. I have no complaints about it. The characters are likable, and the characters are actually similar to the ones in game. So it's a nice little feature how they do that. But also, I highly recommend playing the mobile game if you haven't, because I'm also a frequent fan of playing the mobile game as myself. I actually watched this anime, and this anime was the one that got me into playing the actual mobile game. So definitely check it out. I'm gonna give this a solid A tier. B tier. The Irregular at Magic High School. Oh my lord, this is probably one of my favorite animes out of the entire animes that I have watched so far, and it's only been 1 year. It's very action-packed, and it has a nice little high school environment to it, but it also has that Hogwarts feel in a way, too. It's like a lot of combat, but yet it's in a high school environment, which is kind of cool. And the storylines and plots behind all these seasons is really well done and well made, and I really sometimes wish that it's definitely to check out the manga once in a while. But seriously, I love this show. Despite the one gripe that I actually have with this show is the whole brother and sister complex with the main characters. But besides that, you should definitely check it out. Both seasons, it's great. I love it. It's definitely something to watch. S tier. Classroom of the Elite. They take a very interesting approach with this anime. It's a high school environment, but yet it's more of a competition amongst classes, which is a really interesting way how they do it. Everything's done by points, and based on how well each classroom does in a series of challenges or grades, they get more points for it, and they get into certain ranks or get promoted to a higher rank class. The characters that are mentioned in this anime is actually really very interesting personalities amongst each characters, and they all have their personal desires, motives, and past harsh memories here and there, especially the main character. The main character is actually really likable in a way, because he's not your standard he's not your standard main character. He's actually really interesting. But anyways, something to check out. Classroom of the Elite gets B tier. this just because it just needs some more content besides one season. I would love to see more continuation of it. If there was more content for it, it would get a solid A tier from me. Oh no, High School DxD. I'ma just put this right in the C tier. Now hear me out. A lot of people are fans of this show. I used to be a huge fan of this show, but the problem is every time I rewatch the show, I just get really like disappointed with it, because I just realized that compared to some of the other harem shows that anime shows that I watch, it's kind of really disappointing in a way, because they rely a lot more on fan service than actual plots. And when the plot can be good, just the problem is I feel like the fan service gets a little bit too much, to a point where it gets distracting, and you know, we don't want to talk about what I mean by how distracting it is. But anyways, I'm gonna give this a solid C tier. I'm just gonna say it out there. It's definitely something to watch for sure, at least once, but don't watch if you keep watching it over and over again. I feel like you might get you're gonna get more disappointed every time. Ah, yes. Kaguya-sama, Love is War. I actually love this anime. This anime is also known as, for me personally, is the one anime that has an anime opening that makes you feel like you're taking several types of drugs. The main characters are great. I love how they take another approach, and that once again it takes another high school approach, but yet they have the two main characters who have a crush with each other, but in order to confess it for each other, as they think, if whoever confesses is the one who loses, and it's a competition between one another. It's kind of nice how they do that, and it feels like everything's the game. The narrator's great in the show. Definitely check it out. You gotta love the Chica dance, and it's just amazing. Check it out. A tier. Hagani. I think that's how you say the name. I don't know. This is another harem anime. The main characters are actually likable, where they're just like, oh, low class. They don't fit in with everybody else in the school. So they decided to form the Neighbors Club, which is basically how to make friends. Apparently they don't understand how to make friends, so maybe I should join this club too someday. The 2 seasons that it has is actually good, and season 2 especially is also very interesting too. Now, I wish there's just a little bit more to it. That's another thing. The problem was that it just needed some more anime seasons or movies to go with it. It just felt kind of left uncompleted, or at a high hopeful note in a way. But I'm gonna give this a solid B tier, just because I really wish there's some more content for this anime show. The Quintessential Quintuplets. Oh my god, that's gonna be so freaking hard to say every time. This anime is interesting. You have the main character who is a super genius in school, and he is hired by a father of a set of quintuplets who suck at school, and they need to be tutored. And turns out, shockingly enough, these quintuplets start to form a single crush on this guy. And so they, not away, but not yet, according to season 2, they will start competing for each other for the love of this main character. But this is actually really it's a nice little fun little show with only 1 season. I actually really enjoyed this show. The connections between each character is different and unique. Everybody has each quintuplet has a different personality over the other, and it's great. And I gotta say, it's a fun little show to watch. Definitely worth checking out. I'm on Team Miku, by the way. A tier. Where to begin? Despite the name title, it's a very nice show for sure. You have a guy who meets this girl who is stuck in some sort of disorder, in a way of a natural phenomenon, and he sort of uncovers and try to find ways to help save this person, and then they start to form a romantic relationship with one another as the season builds up. I have not seen the movies on this show, but the way they approach all the plot lines behind the season is really well done, and it's very likable, and I like how they use all these natural phenomenons and natural disorders to actually build up their plot lines, and it makes logical sense. If you like psychological approaches to certain plot lines, definitely check this out. It's a very interesting approach to this for this anime, giving it a solid A tier. If I had to describe about one thing about the Testament of the Sister New Devil, this is basically the off-brand version of High School DxD. Except this main character is actually much more likable. Unlike High School DxD, this main character wants to protect his family, as he keeps proclaiming over and over again. But despite the fan service, just like High School DxD, the plot line can actually be something considerate. It's more of a heroic type of anime, if you guys are. And if you don't mind the fan service that is included here and there, it's actually a very likable show. But this is why I'm giving it a B tier. The only reason why I'm giving it a B tier over High School DxD is because the storyline personally is a lot more easy to work with, and and the main character is a lot more likable in a sense. Did you guys think that was it? Oh heck no, we still got a few more animes to go through. Yeah, this is just gonna be part 1 of 2 of this entire tier ranking list video, because it will take a while for me to render all of them, and I fear that I won't get at least the video uploaded before New Year's Day. So anyways, if you guys have liked the video so far, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the content for more content like this, and please leave feedback on what you guys think about the anime rankings on this tier list right now. Do you guys agree with my list, or do you guys dislike the list or something like that? Like, what do you guys think we should be improved? But yeah, I still got one more part to go through, so stay tuned for part 2, and I will see you guys in the next video.